everywhere are having the same realization at the same time. They're watching the same patterns repeat, seeing the same behaviors unfold, recognizing the same contradictions happening right in front of them. It feels like a collective awakening spreading across men in real time. And what they're waking up to isn't bitterness or hate. It's clarity. A clarity about what modern dating has slowly turned into. A clarity about standards that have become completely disconnected from reality. A clarity about expectations that seem to flow in only one direction. And once a man gains this clarity, it changes everything about how he sees relationships. The first thing men are recognizing is how some women demand standards they don't meet themselves. She wants a man who makes 6 figures while she's unemployed. She expects absolute loyalty while she keeps multiple backup options. She insists on emotional maturity while she throws tantrums over minor inconveniences. She requires a man to be perfect while she puts in bare minimum effort and expects applause for it. The hypocrisy used to be hidden, but now it's so obvious that it's impossible to ignore. I had a client show me his ex's dating profile. Her list of requirements was longer than a CVS receipt. Must be at least 62, must make at least $150,000, must have no kids, must own property, must be fit, must be emotionally available, but never needy. Meanwhile, this woman was unemployed, living with her parents, had 2 kids from 2 different fathers, and hadn't stepped foot into a gym since high school. Yet somehow, she believed she deserved a flawless man. The delusion wasn't subtle. It was glaring. Men are also noticing the rise of public victimhood after causing chaos themselves. Some women will cheat, get caught, and then instantly rewrite the story so that they are the ones who were wronged. They'll destroy property, assault their partner, or create emotional hurricanes, and the moment consequences appear, they turn on the tears and run to social media for sympathy. And disturbing as it is, they often receive it. Just last week, a video went viral of a woman openly admitting she cheated with 3 different men. Instead of accountability, she cried on TikTok claiming, "Men can't handle strong women. He never fought for us." And the comments were filled with support. "You deserve better. He wasn't man enough." It didn't matter what actually happened. Her tears were enough to flip the narrative. This isn't personal gaslighting anymore. It's societal. Another pattern becoming impossible to ignore is the obsession with attention and validation. Some women are willing to ruin stable, healthy relationships for the chance at online recognition or a fantasy that exists only on Instagram. I've seen women throw away 5-year relationships because a semi-famous rapper liked one of their photos. I've seen marriages fall apart because a man with a blue check sent a DM. I had a client whose fiancé left him because a local athlete followed her on Instagram. She interpreted a simple follow, a follow he had given to thousands of women, as a sign of destiny. She broke off the engagement, chased this imaginary connection, got used for a week, and then tried to come back when reality hit her. The level of delusion required to think a social media notification is fate is unbelievable. Yet, it's becoming more common. Are also realizing how some women shift responsibility for their emotions onto the men they date. If she's unhappy, it must be his fault. If she's anxious, he isn't doing enough. If she's bored, he isn't exciting enough. The idea that her unhappiness might come from within never even crosses her mind. I've seen this repeatedly with women who are chronically dissatisfied with everything. A man plans thoughtful dates. She says they aren't creative enough. He tries being romantic. She says it's too much pressure. He gives her space. He's suddenly distant. He tries being attentive. He's now clingy. The problem isn't the man. The problem is that some people require chaos to feel alive, and peace feels boring to them. The narrative manipulation has reached professional levels. Some women have mastered the art of rewriting events in real time to avoid accountability. She can throw plates during an argument and later claim he made her feel unsafe. She can drain their joint bank account and call it financial self-defense. She can cheat and blame the affair on emotional neglect. But now that men are recording interactions for their own protection, what those recordings show is eye-opening. Calm men being accused of yelling. Patient men being called aggressive. Men who are trying to de-escalate being painted as the problem. The gap between what actually happened and what gets claimed online is massive. And then there's the romanticizing of self-destructive behavior. We live in a time where some women speak about OnlyFans like it's a prestigious degree, where hooking up with multiple partners is treated like a badge of honor, where dysfunction is branded as empowerment. Chaos is mistaken for excitement, and attention is mistaken for value. I watched an interview where a woman celebrated entering adult work with the same enthusiasm someone would have after getting into Harvard. She spoke about degrading herself as if it were a lifelong dream fulfilled. It was heartbreaking to watch the delusion be celebrated. And the truth is, men are no longer blind to these things. They're paying attention. They're seeing patterns. They're connecting dots. And most importantly, they're waking up. Not to hate women, not to be bitter toward dating, but to finally see the world with clarity instead of illusion. Some women now talk about entering adult content work like it's a dream career, something to aspire to, something glamorous. There's no discussion about consequences, no mention of what it does to future relationships, future reputation, or the psychological toll it can take. It's all framed as empowerment and securing the bag. The normalization of this mindset is surreal to witness. And alongside this, the hiding or outright lying about past partners has become standard practice. We hear endlessly that body count doesn't matter, but those same people will tell you never to reveal the real number. Some women genuinely believe they can erase their history, hide years of behavior, and that none of it will ever affect their relationships. But the truth has a way of surfacing, and when it does, the entire foundation collapses. A guy I know married a woman who swore she had only been with 3 men. 2 years later, at a party, one of her friends, after a few drinks, started reminiscing about her wild days. and how she was sleeping with different guys every week. Turns out the real number was closer to 50. And it wasn't the number that destroyed the trust. It was the level of deception. How do you stay with someone who can lie so deeply about such a significant part of their life? Men are also waking up to the blatant disregard for their pain, health, and suffering. Some partners treat men's physical pain as a joke, dismiss their emotional struggles as weakness, and mock them for seeking help. Men's suffering has become a punchline. I heard about a man who had a kidney stone, a pain many describe as worse than childbirth. His wife rolled her eyes, accused him of being dramatic, and refused to drive him to the hospital. He eventually called an Uber while nearly passing out from pain. Later, she went on social media, bragging about how men are bobbies when they're sick. That same week, from his hospital bed, he filed for divorce. This is how normalized the disrespect has become. And then there's the constant excuses used to justify toxic behavior. Some women blame cheating on zodiac signs. They blame jealousy on astrology. They blame abusive behavior on Mercury being in retrograde. They blame cruelty on anxiety. There's always an excuse, always a mystical or emotional loophole, but never accountability. The astrology excuse is especially absurd. Some women will literally ruin relationships because a star chart tells them their signs aren't compatible, while ignoring the actual incompatibilities right in front of them: values, loyalty, honesty, basic respect. Meanwhile, men are slowly learning to walk away the moment they sense manipulation or boundary violations. The tolerance for games is gone. The patience for drama has evaporated. Men no longer waste years trying to fix someone who refuses to fix herself. The promotion of gold digger ideology is another area where the delusion is escalating. Some women openly say men should pay their bills simply for the privilege of dating them. Not marriage, not commitment, not partnership, just dating. And they say this with a straight face, convinced it's empowerment. There are entire courses now teaching women how to extract the maximum amount of money, gifts, rent payments, vacations, and resources from men while giving the minimum in return. They share strategies online for how to keep a man emotionally hooked and financially drained. They celebrate using men for material gain. And then they're confused when men become guarded, cautious, and selective about who they invest in. Meanwhile, reckless behavior, especially in the college years, is being framed as harmless exploration. Some young women brag openly about encounters in public bathrooms, group situations, or getting recorded without a second thought. They don't understand that the internet never forgets, that reputation matters, that actions have real-world consequences. A recruiter friend told me that companies now do deep social media checks before hiring. He's found videos uploaded by the candidates themselves, videos in compromising, explicit situations. These women never hear back. Their carefree, hot girl summer quietly becomes their long-term unemployability. But nobody warns them because speaking truth is now labeled as shamming. At the same time, many women feel entitled to high-value men while offering very little in exchange. Every woman believes she deserves a top 1% man, a millionaire, a Chad, a prince-level partner. But basic math doesn't lie. If every woman deserves the same elite man, then most will end up with nothing and blame men for the outcome. The irony is almost comedic. The dependency masked as independence is equally absurd. I'm a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man, but he should still pay my rent. They want traditional provision without offering traditional partnership. They want protection while claiming they don't need it. They want support while giving none. They want resources while offering entitlement. And the lack of accountability in serious situations is reaching cartoonish levels. Some women treat legal issues like jokes, criminal behavior like personality quirks, and consequences like unfair inconveniences. They've been shielded from responsibility for so long that they genuinely don't understand what accountability is. I saw a video of a woman being pulled over during a traffic stop. Instead of respecting the moment, she giggled and asked the officer if he would put the handcuffs on her for fun. She genuinely didn't grasp that this was a real situation with potential legal consequences. Her entitlement blinded her to danger. She treated a legal stop like a flirtatious TikTok trend. Men are watching all of this unfold. They're not angry. They're not hateful. They're simply waking up. And once a man wakes up to these patterns,